A warm welcome to the Hill City here on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. It is senior day for this women's soccer squad, and so much fun is on the way. We're going to hand things over to our PA announcer, Kyle Haney, for all the introductions on a very special day.
Judge Advocate General with the United States Army. Sydney's favorite memory here at Lynchburg is scoring the game-winning goal against Guilford in double overtime in the ODAC quarterfinals in 2021. Sydney is accompanied by Sasha and Michelle and her younger brother, Sage. Our next senior is from Huntington, Maryland. It's number 12, Lacey Gardner. Lacey has played 4 seasons here at Lynchburg. She helped create a group on the women's soccer team using art therapy to help student athletes with their mental health and overall well-being on and off the soccer field. She's double major in studio art and art therapy with a double minor in philosophy and psychology. In the future, she plans to try to further her career in art therapy and help those struggling with mental health and create an outlet for them to cope. Favorite memory here at Lynchburg is winning the ODAC championship her sophomore year and all the fun that came along with that, and ringing the bell. She is accompanied today by Shannon and Ralph Garner and Carl Hare. Our next senior is Mackenzie Green. Mackenzie has spent 4 years with the women's soccer program, acting as a student assistant this season. She's also the GPS analyst for the team, a leader for Delight Ministries. After receiving her degree in exercise physiology with a minor in sports medicine and health promotions, Mackenzie plans on going to grad school to get a doctorate in physical therapy. Favorite memory at Lynchburg, crawling up the Green Monster to ring the bell after beating Virginia Wesleyan in the ODAC championship. Mackenzie is accompanied by Kate and Mackenzie Jolly. Our next senior is from Norfolk, Virginia. It's number 9, Alora Grakowski. Alora is a tutor at the Wilmer's Writing Center, a member of the Pre-Law Society and Philosophy Club. She's also volunteered with the rest of the team at Fostering Hope. While at Lynchburg, she's maintained a 3.99 grade point average. She's currently on the president's list. She was the 2023 Female Athlete of the Year recipient and a 3-time academic all-conference member in the ODAC. Upon graduating with a degree in criminology, philosophy, and political science, she plans to go to law school and possibly have a career in state government. Accompanied today by Heather and Matthew Grakowski. Our next senior is from Springfield, Virginia. It's number 28, Ella Irons. Ella has been a participant in the Wilmer Writing Center as a tutor and a connection leader. She's been on the Dean's List, the President's List, and the ODAC All-Academic Team. After graduating with her Bachelor of Science, she plans on going to PT school and getting a doctorate in physical therapy. Ella would like to thank her parents for their support. Favorite memory here at Lynchburg, winning the ODAC championship her sophomore year. She's accompanied today by her parents, Craig and Sue. Our next senior is from Norfolk, Virginia. It's number 27, Liliana Irigoyen. Liliana has played 4 years here at Lynchburg. She's a part of Alpha Kappa Delta and the International Sociology Honor Society. Future plans include pursuing a career in criminology where she hopes to investigate and address crimes challenges. Liliana Our next senior is from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, number 8, Megan Lauder. Megan has spent 4 years here at the University of Lynchburg, a 2023 All-ODAC third team, also 2023 All-ODAC tournament team. After graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Public Health, she plans on going into medical sales. Megan accompanied today by her parents, Craig and Kathleen. Our next senior is from Virginia Beach, number 19, Claire Lloyd. Claire has spent 4 seasons on the women's soccer team. She was team captain in 2023 and 2024, a 3-time All-ODAC Conference team selection, and also an Old Dominion Athletic Conference All-Academic team selection for 3 seasons. She'll graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Counseling Psychology with minors in Health Promotion and Human Services. She plans on getting her master's in social work and wants to work in child welfare. Claire is accompanied today by her parents, Robin and Ken. Our final senior today is from Ashburn, Virginia. It's number 30, Ann Zirkle. Ann has spent 4 years on the soccer team. She's a connection leader and university ambassador. She'll graduate with an exercise physiology major and plans to attend graduate school to get a doctorate in physical therapy. Her favorite athletic memory at Lynchburg was winning the scavenger hunt earlier this year. Ann is accompanied by her parents, Catherine and Steve. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have one more big round of applause for our 12 Lynchburg women's soccer seniors.
Welcome back in the Hill City. Evan Gates and Joe Brennan will take you through this one, a senior day contest and a good one between the Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets and the hometown Lynchburg Hornets. In Schellenberger Field, there are a lot of special memories in that book, and there are so many that Coach Olson and the squad have continued to capture. Most notably, the 500th career win for Coach Olson last time out. And Joe, obviously a lot of emotions today. You got homecoming weekend, about a couple hundred of our friends behind us at the tailgates. It just feels like a special day for this program.
Without a doubt, but you can't overlook the importance of this game when you take a look at the ODAC standings right now. Randolph-Macon checks in at second. The Hornets right on their tail in third. So this is a big one because Randolph-Macon, if they get a win today, and it's an emphatic one, they can jump all the way up to first place in the standings, whereas the Hornets, they're looking to flip-flop positions with the Yellow Jackets. But you said it. You're coming off a very emotional win. You're having a very emotional game today with homecoming and senior day. It has all the makings for an emotional roller coaster, if you will. And if you're Randolph-Macon, all you want to do is come in here and silence the crowd and play spoiler tonight.
Well, they've had such a good season so far, and second season for Coach Carly Gettler. She's starting to settle in, and despite losing that ODAC quarterfinal matchup last year to Lynchburg, these Yellow Jackets are back, and they feel like they're better. As we'll take a look at some of the pregame stats, this is a Randolph-Macon offense that has been explosive, averaging just under 3 goals a game, 40 on the season, 31 of which have been assisted. It is a versatile offense, 3 forwards up front, and Joe, you know, right off the bat, they want to score early and stay ahead.
Yeah, without a doubt, this is a team that ranks third in the ODAC for goals per game. That 2.8 is not something you want to mess with. They're going to have a tough and stout Lynchburg defense on the flip side of things. But if you're going strictly off numbers, Randolph-Macon certainly looks like the stronger team here. But if you look at it in terms of momentum, it's all the Hornets. They're playing their best brand of ball of the season. If you remember, this is a team that really came out of the gates and had somewhat of a shaky start to the beginning of the season. I mean, through their first 4 games of the year, they were 1-2-1. It wasn't necessarily the start they've wanted, but you're on a 3-game win streak. You're 3-1-1 at home so far this year. But, I mean, this is a very, very strong Randolph-Macon team. I mean, you mentioned it. Like, this last season, this team went 6-4-8. This year they've come out of the gates and proven they aren't the same team. They're 8-2-4, 5-1 in the ODAC. They're certainly playing the type of ball they want to be playing at this stage of the game.
Two teams that have 3 straight shutout wins and in dominant fashion as well. These two teams like to score goals, and as you mentioned, 2 very different teams from last year, but one source of familiarity for Lynchburg is that back line. 3 seniors that were recognized today, and oh, by the way, Meredith Bowers will return in goal after an injury, just keeping her out about a week. As we transition into some of the keys to the game, the gateway to success, you'll see some of this in the picture as well. For Randolph-Macon, it's about staying patient. This is a very strong Lynchburg defense, and they just test you in different ways. We'll see how the Yellow Jackets respond, as well as protecting set pieces. Lynchburg has been explosive. Sammy Ronstad on some of the corners has great placement, and expect the Hornets to be jumping in the box. For Lynchburg, it's about disrupting possession. Eliminating the midfield passes from Randolph-Macon will be crucial, because this is a Yellow Jacket squad that wants to possess, and they want to get the ball up the field, as well as having aggression in the box. We just touched on it. Assists are a big deal. You got to really put your foot on the gas pedal.
And Evan, out of all the figures that you just showed me on that board, the one that really stands out the most is the series history between these two teams. Lynchburg holds the advantage 33-1. But the main takeaway is in the last 6 years, those 3 wins for Randolph-Macon in that tie have happened. So you start to see the wheels are going in the right direction for the Yellow Jackets. They're trying to put another stamp in, as I mentioned. So it'll be a whole lot of fun. I am so excited to see how this back line of Lynchburg holds up against one of the most high-octane, high-powered offenses in the conference in Randolph-Macon.
Absolutely right. We know that's the battle that we're going to be watching today, and you mentioned the last 6 years are when all of those results for Randolph-Macon have occurred. Well, the seniors on the field for Lynchburg today have yet to lose against Randolph-Macon. Might it change today? We have a full 90 minutes to discuss ahead of us. We're going to go to the national anthem when we will be right back on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. back on Schellenberger Field on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. Homecoming weekend is in the air. The festivities have been going on all day long since noon. The tailgates behind us have just been active all around. And, Joe, it's just so fun when you see so many people, alumni, you got just friends of the university, everybody here for the same reason, just to have some fun today.
I wish it was like this every weekend.
That's right.
I mean, it's one heck of a tailgate. You got dogs and burgers on the grill, beer in the cooler, tents all pitched up. It's a parking lot party.
Well, we talked about it before the game, too. How about just take a few videos from today and let's roll them out every weekend. Let's inspire the crowds to come out in full fledged, because I'll tell you one thing. The programs that are playing on this field have been phenomenal. And
yeah.
Lynchburg women's soccer team is a team that, you look at Coach Todd Olson and his 500th win. You see a team that is getting back to the ODAC schedule and trying to get back to the ODAC championship. And these two teams want the same thing, and it's just to make that deep postseason run.
Without a doubt. And you can really make a big statement and put a stamp on your resume if you can come out of today with a victory. We talked about that in the last game with men's soccer playing W&L, and that was one that went down to the wire, ended in a draw. I mean, this is the kind of ball that we're expecting today. Two teams that match up beautifully with one another and should be a phenomenal game all around.
So much to talk about. It is senior day. We have a lot to discuss in that regard. But for Randolph-Macon, let's introduce the starters. It's Zoe Long in goal, the senior from Midlothian, Virginia. This is start number 7 on the season. The defense is Kelly Rogers, Maddie Stubblefield, and Grace Turney. Riley Russ, Alexa Storr, Lillian Holt, and Sammy Hafes are in the midfield. And then Allie Spengler, Laura Bertram, and Lauren Brokaw, the forwards up front, the ones you really want to put an asterisk by. They've been so good this season.
And all three of them with 7+ goals this year. I mean, they can hurt you in a lot of different ways.
And then Lynchburg, a very familiar setup, but they do have their seniors locked and loaded as they get this one kicked off in the home whites. Moving right to left, Randolph-Macon in the black uniforms with lemon trim. The Hornets have Meredith Bowers back in goal. Rest of the lineup is McKenna Dom, Haley Casey, Megan Lauder, Alora Grakowski, Lacey Garner, Lauren Orner, Claire Lloyd, Liliana Sirigoyen, Ella Tampio Irons, and Anna Zirkle. So all the seniors in the lineup. And Joe, that just feels so special to have everybody share what could be one of the last moments on Schellenberger Field together.
And pretty easy to sport a lineup of all seniors on senior day when you've got 12 of them.
Already going cross through the box and in. Randolph-Macon puts a pause to the early conversations as the Jackets swarm on in the first minute of this contest. Goodness gracious, Lynchburg's back line caught napping, and you see it right away. Randolph-Macon in a big spot. It looks like it's number 21, Laura Bertram, who slots it home, and it's 1-0 Randolph-Macon.
Yeah, Bertram says pretty quickly, it's my senior day too. Where are my flowers? The senior out of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, right there records her 8th goal of the season. I mean, this front line for Randolph-Macon isn't a joke. Like, you really need to respect them, and they made you do it early, less than a minute into this ball game.
They are so lethal early in contest. You even look at one of their losses on the season to Washington and Lee. They scored first before conceding 4 in that defeat. And so Randolph-Macon wanted to come out with some firepower. Oh, by the way, as you said, Joe, the senior day festivities, you see Randolph-Macon just trying to pass around, do a few strides, get everything loose. They were ready after the opening tap.
Yeah, I mean, and Lynchburg has had 5 games on Schellenberger so far this year, only 4 goals allowed. That right there makes it 5 through 6 games. I mean, they've had an extraordinarily stout defense. The only game where it kind of got away from them was when they let up 3 goals against W&L.
Look at this cross. It's just a whiff from Haley Casey trying to clear this one out. You could tell right away Randolph-Macon capitalizes.
Yeah, and it felt like everybody on that back line was kind of asleep just because it felt like that's a gimme for Casey. Those are the kind of plays, it's routine. We've seen her make routine plays that are drastically more difficult than that. Just kind of a lapse in judgment right there. Mistimed the ball, and it cost him.
2022 All-American. Obviously, everybody has these miscues. The question is, can you weather the storm now if you're Lynchburg? And wow, if you had the script written already, go ahead and shred it because we have a new ball game. And the women in black are not apologizing.
Yeah, that just feels like in boxing, you get caught early, you get punched in the mouth because your gloves are down. I mean, that's a self-inflicted wound. So this is going to showcase some adversity for the Hornets, see what they've got to offer, because you need to bounce back in a big way. Granted, so much ball left to be played. I mean,
absolutely.
A lot of times, like if you're a team, you want to lose your game early in the year so you can build back up. It's kind of like that condensed in this kind of ball game. Like you give one up so early into this that you allow yourself so much time to climb back into it. But I think what's most important is you got to come out now and set the tone, because you've just got punched in the mouth. You need to control the ball, value possessions, work your way downfield, and really try and play most of this in your offensive third.
Well, and Randolph-Macon already doing that. You see their attackers up front as Allie Spengler tries to get a foot on it. This one goes back to Casey. Lynchburg, a team that is 3-1-1 at home this year, and really the question has been, can they take it away against these strong opponents in the ODAC? We saw a tie versus Roanoke and a defeat versus Washington and Lee that went into the final minute. Lynchburg had a chance to equalize, and now it just feels like this is even a bigger test.
And one thing that I think is so unique about soccer, especially here in the ODAC, because we don't have extra time once we get tied at regulation, but I've always been a very anti the term good loss or bad win, but when it comes to this, good win or pardon me, good tie or bad tie really can resonate. And I think that Roanoke game was an example of a bad tie.
Yes.
That's a ball game where Lynchburg comes in expecting to win. If you were in the huddle at halftime with Coach Olson, I think that would tell you everything you need to know. Like it's not a positive, resounding message saying, hey, guys, we're still in this. It's, why are they still in this? Why aren't we playing our best brand of ball? And ever since then, this team's been scorching hot. The Hornets really corrected after that Roanoke game up until about 2 minutes ago.
That's right. It feels like the train has been moving forward, and now all of a sudden it's the first shift in momentum.
Yeah, that's their first goal allowed since that Roanoke game.
That's right. And the number of shutouts from these two teams that we've talked about, it has been sensational as Dom takes a shot, maybe a little bit of a heat check, just trying to get the goalkeeper thinking. This one sails wide. It's Zoe Long in goal, as we already talked about, and this Randolph-Macon team defensively is very good as well. We've touched on their offense already. Well, they're only allowing this season a goal, or excuse me,
less than
0.86 goals per game.
Yeah. But I like the idea right there from Dom, but what's going to make me love it is if you can get possession back and keep it on this side of the field. Because if you can pepper their keeper with shots all day long and then still be able to maintain possession on your half of the field, that's exactly what you need to get going here. I think they shouldn't be hesitant to let it rip early and often, especially when you find yourself in a hole like they do right now.
Well, an overwhelming difference from this Lynchburg offense in recent games has been the number of assists they're putting up. I mean, even look at the Averett contest, 4 assists with 5 goals, and they're easy chances, especially in the box. And so for Lynchburg to have a few shots from outside the 18 again, it can never hurt just to change the eye level.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to describe the last 2 games for the Hornet is the Oprah Winfrey show. 9-0 in terms of goal differential. It's been you get a goal, you get a goal, you get a goal. Everybody gets a goal, Evan. And that kind of sharing the wealth, great passing to create those open looks is really what's been kickstarting this offense that got off to a relatively slow start to begin the year.
It will be interesting to see the rotations from Lynchburg's bench today. As we mentioned, all the seniors started, and they're still on the field. But it should be noted, a lot of their seniors already start throughout the season. I mean, this back line of Krakowski, Casey, and Lloyd has been familiar with one another for a very long time. This is, I believe, start number 76 now between Claire Lloyd and Haley Casey.
And what a good correction right there from Casey. Able to get this stop, then a beautiful feed to put him out in transition right here.
Zirkle probing. Pass into the middle. We see Ella Irons ready to take a stab at it. Maybe round 2 on the way. Uses her size. Sails it over.
Once again, I like it. You start to see their offense is getting into a groove. And it all gets kick-started with the former All-American, not only with a nice tackle, but just beautifully placing the ball out in front. It comes down to the same situation, though. You're going to get a goal kick right here, right about towards midfield. You just got to keep pushing in the right direction.
And let's talk about Haley Casey for a second as well, because you see All-American, but in soccer, your defenders don't have the stat lines necessarily to validate what's good and what's not. Your great defenders are going to lead from the back, and you see them do so much more than just playing in that defensive third. We've seen Haley Casey just transform this program, and you see some of the success, like the 2022 ODAC championship will look no further than number 4.
And you also can't discredit her ability to find herself in the stat column as well. This season recorded her first collegiate goal.
Exactly right. You never know when the spotlight will find you, and obviously the corners from Lynchburg, they're very often going to target Haley Casey going up in the box.
And what I think is so interesting is with a player like Casey, it's more so you never know when the spotlight isn't going to find you.
Yep, and it's such a special note for this team as well, because the more contributors you have, the easier the rest of the game's going to become.
That's a beautiful pass out to create some open space.
Now Randolph-Macon has some fresh green. They'll slow things down. Lynchburg's defense playing tough. Now a little course correction that sends this one out, and Lilianis Irigoyen on the far touchline doing just enough to keep it in.
And even though you're up by 1 right now, if I'm Randolph-Macon, I don't want to take my foot off the pedal.
Does Lynchburg have numbers? They might. Pass inside. Not offsides. Here comes Ella Irons. A touch too far. Is that a penalty? Yes, it is. A spot kick's on the way. Zoe Long kept her hands out a little too long. Irons hits the turf, and a chance for Lynchburg to equalize early. Holy smokes, if you like action, welcome to Schellenberger Field. Another special moment to start this one. Lynchburg is yet to take a spot kick this season. We'll see if they can convert on the first one. And McKenna Dom on senior day has a chance to be the special one.
I'm so excited, Evan.
This
is going to be so much fun. This is such a fun game.
The fireworks might be on the way if number 3 makes it happen. There's the goal from Randolph-Macon to get things started. Can Lynchburg change the story? Dom and Long. Perfection in a tie ball game. McKenna Dom does just enough to make it a 1-1 scoreline, and Lynchburg is feeling a lot better now, Joe.
That was a damn good shot.
That's exactly right, and McKenna Dom has done it all season long. Someone else who hasn't necessarily shown up in the stat categories as frequently, but she plays so well in that defensive midfield and anchor, and she has just tied this ball game up.
What a game, man. We're not even 9 minutes in. We've got 2 goals.
How many times are you guaranteed that in collegiate soccer? Let's go ahead and see the play that starts this. Ella Irons, it's a pretty clear foul, and Zoe Long obviously was going for the ball, but you can't be doing that in the box, and an easy call for the referee, maybe one of the easiest you'll see all day.
Yeah, it looks like she just extended and grabbed that ankle, and you know what they say, Evan, you reach, I teach.
That's right. Sometimes life drags you down, but you can get right back up. Lynchburg has done that. Now Randolph-Macon still sticking in this attacking third, and you can tell they are poised. A great through ball that almost connects on the near side. Lynchburg ushers it out, but that was a run from Riley Russ that had some promise. Now Macon starts on the near side. Rogers with the throw in, and look at the defense from Lacey Garner.
That was beautiful.
Hornets trying to turn the page and move the other way. Pass outside. Here's Ella Irons, and she has done a little bit of everything. Going back to that penalty opportunity, just creating some offense for Lynchburg, and now Hornets can keep moving forward.
And one thing that Ella just does so well is her change of pace. Just when you feel like you've got a beat on her, she can kick it to another gear, then slow it down, and speed it back up. You can just shake defenders so well and just deceivingly quick.
You need people like that on your team, and last year someone like Vic Newman, who's out on the wing and is just so shifty. Lilianis Irigoyen can show the speed as well. Everybody from this Lynchburg offense is bought in to the full picture. They're trying to get back in this game now. They have equalized courtesy of a McKenna Dom penalty kick. If you're just joining us, you missed a pretty entertaining 10 minutes.
Yeah, you've missed a lot. It's 10 and a half minutes, and we've had so much action.
On pace right now for a 9-9 draw. We'll see if this one holds. A lot of soccer to be played. A great homecoming weekend so far. Not a cloud in the sky here on Schellenberger Field, and we see two of the best teams in the ODAC going at it, and what could be a very important matchup come November. You look at some of the seeding. These matches can matter. Wow, watch out. Haley Casey coming through. Those are the types of plays you might be feeling even in the 80th minute, and so far we have seen Laura Bertram continue to be pestered on this near side.
That's one way to set a tone.
What does Lynchburg have in store now? Randolph-Macon getting thrown all around. The Yellow Jackets now maybe trying to reverse the field or just get a pass outside. Lynchburg sticking tight, and there's the defense. There's the clearance, or so momentarily. Jackets still searching. Deflection from Claire Lloyd, and this one finds its way out. Two coaches with very different stories, but very similar success in their tenures. Obviously, Coach Todd Olson has the accolades, the 500 wins, and a sensational resume with Lynchburg, the 2014 national champions. But Carly Gettler has a great pace as well, as this shot takes a deflection on the far side, and it's going to usher out for a Lynchburg goal kick.
Yeah, that's a great defensive play right there from Casey. I think clamps, that's what the kids say these days.
I don't even know if that captures what Haley Casey has done this season. You might have to upgrade the thesaurus because it has been such a stout defense. Again, you don't necessarily erase the first chance. We know that Haley Casey obviously and this Lynchburg defense just gave up a quick one, but they are right back in the fight. Can they take this extra lifeline? Hornets still moving forward. Pass inside, and now Ella Irons moving to her right. Attempting to create space. She wants friends in the box. This one sails over.
Feels like they're being a little bit more selective with their shots now. We saw them fire off three really quickly that weren't necessarily the greatest looks. They were just trying to apply some pressure. Now you see them kind of settle inside the 18, see what they can make in terms of space.
There's a reason teams are shooting just 7% against Randolph-Macon as well, and it extends to their playing style. They're so strong in the midfield, and a lot of the times you just want to settle quickly. That's the type of shooting they prefer from their opponents. Easier to defend, as we saw Lynchburg enter some substitutions. Madeline Boyce and Sammy Rogstad, two mainstays in the starting lineup, who obviously start on the bench courtesy of Senior Day. Now a connection from Rogstad doesn't find its destination, and Irigoyen can recover on the far side. Inside the first 15 minutes from Schellenberger Field, this one's promising. Hornets sail across into the box. Oh, wow. Ella Irons almost a little too open and just can't get her foot on it.
I thought she had it there.
I did too, and that's an opportunity that you might not get very often. Almost another gift from Randolph-Macon. Instead, it's a goal kick, and the Jackets send it the other way. Lynchburg, a team that has started to find its offense recently. We talked about the assist number, 8 assists in their last 9 goals. They have outscored their last 3 opponents 11-0. And obviously, you just know with the energy that has started in this game, they want to keep it rolling, but a few bumps and bruises along the way. Joe, you wonder in a game like this as well, and we've always talked about this with those 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock starts on Schellenberger Field, but the sun can start playing a factor on the left side as it starts setting.
Yeah, I wish I had some shades on right about now.
Doesn't just impact the players on the field. Your broadcasters, your spectators, they might have a little more trouble. Throw on the far side. Pretty good attendance throughout the day. Field hockey got things started. A 4-1 victory over Washington and Lee. Men's soccer draws 1-1 with the Generals, and now the only other matchup on this field today. It has been a busy few days here in the Champions Week of Giving at Lynchburg. You got alumni coming back for homecoming.
Yeah, it's been fun. Last night had a alumni lacrosse game.
Yes.
Had a basketball midnight madness for men's and women's to get things kicked off. Or our very own Jonathan Faust, who's running your replay right now, placed second in the dunk contest.
We got to get the bingo card stuff out because, you know, there were a lot of people at that contest who might have thought he got gypped a little bit, maybe add some of the numbers up, but always great. And that's the whole student worker experience. You got LHSN, everybody pitching in.
Maybe got you involved.
That's right. I might have missed a layup here or there. Lynchburg corner on the way. Long just gets a punch on this one as it sails over. And threat from Lynchburg that is temporarily benign, but the Hornets are so good on those corners. They will check out to make sure Zoe Long is okay, maybe a corroboration with the referee, but either way, they'll send this one off. Back to Midnight Madness. That's a tradition at Lynchburg that is obviously a yearly thing. You got the basketball season starting in just a few weeks' time, but it was a really good attendance as well. Got some of the students involved. Obviously, all the players are ready to go. The new gear is coming in. It's just a fun time of year as these fall postseasons start intersecting with some of the winter sports.
Yeah, it feels like just yesterday we were talking, you know, there's not a whole lot of sample size yet. We're just starting to figure these teams out. And now this is a crucial game, middle of the season.
That's right.
If you win
Rewrite the narrative. And that's what you love about collegiate sports. You don't have a lot of time. It's not a luxury, but on the same token, you got to be ready for the postseason. If you get there and you're one of the top 8 teams in the ODAC, you got a shot to go to the NCAAs. You just never know. And that time is quickly approaching.
But this is the best time of the year if you're a sports fan, Evan.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got everything. You got all college fall sports are starting to get spicy. They've got winter college sports starting to ramp up. NBA's right around the corner. NFL's in the middle of the season.
NHL.
NHL's just starting.
Hockey.
We got October baseball.
Everything.
I mean, this is perfect.
And there's always something out there for you.
Fall ball lacrosse right around the corner. Softball
right.
team's about to get started as well. I mean, it's phenomenal. And the weather's great, too.
It's not great everywhere as the Jackets almost cause a threat on this one. Bowers takes a step forward. She had to collect. Referee maybe giving a talking to. It didn't look like the whistle escaped his mouth. And, ooh, that was an interesting one as Meredith Bowers, who has missed the last couple of contests, comes into this one and is quickly tested. Nonetheless, Lynchburg will punt this one away. Beautiful day in Lynchburg. It was chilly this morning, but as we said, sun's been out all day long. Temperature's starting to rise. October in Virginia, you just got to roll the dice. You never know what to expect. We got a good one today. Here's Irons, who's been so good in possession.
That was a great touch to get herself open.
She has space as well. She's going to fire this one. Long gathers in her gloves. She didn't have to move left or right, but another opportunity that goes down as a shot for Lynchburg.
She's just so graceful when she runs. She looks like a deer.
You talk about these forwards or these wingers that come out and you never really know what the stereotype is because everybody has such a different playing style. Great thing about Ella Irons is that she has that speed and that grace that we're talking about. She's also got the strength where if you need to get to the middle of the field, she's going to find a way.
It's like the combination of a ballerina and a hockey player.
That's right. We might need some illustrations for that one. Somebody on the LHS.
Do you think it's a ballerina in hockey gear or a hockey player in ballerina?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Depends on the day.
I think that's the perfect way to do it. Oh.
Maybe a side hustle on the way. We'll have to wait and see. Randolph-Macon wants to enter the picture again. They've been struggling to give any quality chances. We saw Bowers have to come out of her spot momentarily. Now Ava Olson comes into the contest, fresh off her first Lynchburg goal versus Averett. A very good contest for Lynchburg. They're diversifying their portfolio. 4 different players score. Madeline Boyce was the one with multiple goals. She leads the team this season and just continuing to find her footing as well. Someone else who entered the contest just moments ago for Lynchburg, Morgan Oliver, is someone else who has really started to get her stride. She is taking shots outside of the 18 and making them. She has such a good feel in that midfield, and we'll see if she gets in the score line today. That one goes to Olsen, now pass back, and Rogstad recovers. Ooh, traffic. The Yellow Jackets want possession, and they're going to get it. How about the hustle from Riley Russ?
I will say Rogstad's someone I've been really impressed with this year. I mean, you look at freshmen making an immediate impact. She has so much potential and so much more room to grow. It's just scary considering where she's at.
Lynchburg almost took a deflection off that shot. Bauer still saw it cleanly. Hornets still evading trouble for now. And you know Sammy Rogstad is one of those players who just has the work ethic as well. You'll see her taking corners at the end of practice. She's always out there for her teammates, and that's somebody that really fits the Coach Olsen system. It's great to have it as a freshman because this is a team that is losing quite a few players next year, like the one on your screen, Haley Casey, who sends this ball through.
I mean, you take away the early miscue from Casey, and she's had a perfect game. She's really played well.
She's all over the field as well. We talk about how this defense is not restricted to the defensive third. Well, there was an example. Someone else who just gets her head on the ball, Alora Gurkowski on the far side of the field, is often released. Will make her way into the attacking third. No offense should be extremely calculated. You want to have some versatility, and we know that Lynchburg's can mold with every different game. But a game like this, the fundamentals certainly start to matter, and it feels like after what was a crazy first 10 minutes of this contest, we're back on the tracks. Randolph-Macon with a first-minute goal to get things started, and then just a few minutes later, Lynchburg was able to earn a penalty in the box. Ella Irons hits the turf, and McKenna Dom knots it up.
It's crazy. We haven't seen a goal in 14 minutes.
I know. Selfishly, where is the offense at? We have seen 3 very different games so far for this homecoming, and it just feels like the energy is all the same. These are Lynchburg squads that are already starting to think about the postseason. Here's Ella Irons. Waiting for the cross. It stays on the ground. Easy disposal for the Jackets, but Sammy Rogstad's there. She's now going to have company.
Ooh!
Wow. Look at the footwork from number 18. Ella Irons take 2 right on the goal line. This cross goes in. It's still free. Lynchburg has taken the lead. Oh, cookies. Lynchburg has found their way back. The ball stays out of Long's hands, and the Hornets somehow pop the net again.
Well, Evan, we talked about staying aggressive. 7 shots, 2 of them finding the back of the net. What a start for the Hornets. What a response.
It's impressive stuff, and the Hornets get it done all around. You see Morgan Oliver on your screen. The bench is feeling it now, and after we just said we haven't seen a goal, we'll forget that as well. Lynchburg is back and better. Goodness, what a game for offenses as Randolph-Macon now the ones trying to find their way into the picture. And there is another image. Morgan Oliver had a very high percentage shot. It starts with that Irons cross as well.
No longer on pace for 18 goals, but now on pace for 12.
Yes, so we got to taper our expectations a little bit. Morgan Oliver, we talked about it earlier, how she might find the score sheet, and it just feels like she's always in the right spot. One of the sophomores who has such a great feel for the game. This was a season where you understand there has to be a little bit of progression. You want somebody to come out and be confident, especially with scoring goals. That's the hole that Lynchburg found themselves in last season. Well, that question mark has certainly been answered from sophomores like Oliver and Orner. Randolph-Macon has to be scratching its head because it is a game that just doesn't exactly make sense when you look at their production. Obviously getting outshot 7-3. Maybe that falls into the energy department, Joe.
It just felt like they poked the bear. It felt like you got a goal so early and you captured so much momentum, and instead of becoming a hermit crab and going right back into your shell, it lighted a fire underneath this Lynchburg team. And, I mean, they have just been going full throttle.
The Hornets, if they needed a wake-up call, certainly got it early.
Yeah.
Not always gifted that very quick opportunity. Ava Olsen makes this pass into the middle of the field. Randolph-Macon erases, and now they're looking to counter the other way. Here come the Hornets. Tangle in the midfield. This is a Randolph-Macon defense that we've talked about already. Does not allow a lot of goals. And so for two to find the sheet in the first 25 minutes, it is not an easy feat for the Hornets.
And this Randolph-Macon team is really struggling to pick up the ball in transition. It just feels like everybody's dropping back and retreating and allowing Lynchburg to get great field position. They're taking advantage of it. I'd like to see him fake a pass and, do a little crossover, get a little bit closer to the 18 and let one rip.
This is an offense that, despite losing Olivia Owens last season, your goal leader for the squad, has come back with the firepower up front. They've got to find a way to utilize it today. This one sails into the sun, and Long can collect.
What I think is so interesting, we talked about the sun earlier. We just saw every single player on the sideline with their hand on their forehead trying to see what's going on.
A few of them still keeping it there on the other side of the field. It does get a little bit easier in the fall. It doesn't stay up in the sky as long, but you have those spring games, especially during lacrosse season, where it's 8:30, and it's still up in the sky. We will take sun over the rain, though, and we have had plenty of both in the last month. Two storms that rolled through. We know it certainly affected some schedules between the two hurricanes, but a pretty week ahead of us as well, and it just feels fitting for where we stand in the ODAC schedule. Two teams sitting in the top three looking to barge in and maybe go ahead and threaten Washington and Lee, a squad that has been sensational. Look at the Generals coming into today. That win streak had already extended, I believe, to 10 straight victories. A squad that lost its first match, much like Randolph-Macon, and then went on a very long unbeaten streak. The Yellow Jackets were on a 9-game unbeaten streak after their season opener before they lost to Washington and Lee. Safe to say they've found their footing now, and two of the conference giants going at it. 2-1 Lynchburg and Ava Olsen trying to advance for the Hornets. She might run out of room on that far touchline, somehow keeping it in, and a late deflection makes it a throw for Lynchburg. We'll see if Irigoyen wants to take this one long. Number 27 on your screen has been so impressive in her Lynchburg career. The senior from Norfolk, Virginia, has started every match this season, 3 goals and 3 assists. She scored in the ODAC quarterfinal versus Randolph-Macon, the only goal that sent the Hornets to the next round. The squad certainly remembers her, and she's hoping to make another difference today. As Randolph-Macon will head to the substitutions, it's Madison Blanchard, the sophomore from Virginia Beach. Her twin sister Caroline also on the roster. Both twins went to Frank Cox High School in Virginia Beach. Pinball back and forth in the midfield. Who wants to collect? Stays momentarily at the foot of Allie Spengler. Sends it to the midfield. Now Oliver tries to paint this one forward. Zoe Long does enough to disrupt the progression. You can tell it's just a little bit of a different feel now, and this game has started to settle in the midfield. But Lynchburg does want a few chances in their attacking third. Here's Ella Irons. Moves back, left foot again. Zoe Long sees it this time. Those low crosses, Joe, are really causing problems.
And there's the speed again. I mean, there's a reason she wears a running back number like 28. I mean, she can really go north-south.
And it just feels like time after time. We talk about Ella Irons. She was someone who hadn't even really started consistently, and she has caught fire at this stage of the season.
Do you think she's a big Adrian Peterson fan? I think that's why.
That might be an interview question. We'll have to hold that one for the presser.
All day.
It's a good name to be recognized with.
Yeah.
He was okay.
He was like a ballerina on hockey skates.
That's right. If anybody was. Ava Olsen in the midfield. Ball played to McKenna Dom. Now the Hornets still moving forward. Some fresh green in front. Better defense from Randolph-Macon. And once again, this shot pressured a little too closely by Randolph-Macon, but an optimistic approach as Sejal Wellington enters the contest for Lynchburg.
Yeah, I got two things for you, Evan. I think, first off, if Dom can get a shot off with her left foot, when you've got the defender on your back hip like that, it'll open up her game so much more. That is such a difficult shot, especially with your southpaw, but if she's able to do that, I mean, there's really no stopping her in that kind of situation. And secondly, Sejal Wellington checking in. What a beautiful national anthem today.
Oh, it was fantastic. Sejal, someone who is involved with the musical side of things on campus.
Music major.
That's right.
Yeah.
So many great talents, too. You get all these different players, and that's any college sports team, just to be able to keep everybody and explore all the arts.
You got any musical talent?
No. We will leave it to Sejal for the anthem. I
could see you with like a clarinet or something.
A clarinet might be better. If we do the anthem, we might have attendance numbers going down. Ooh.
I feel like you could rock it.
The harmonica. We need.
Who's good at it? John Mellencamp? Or?
That's a good question.
I don't.
The LHSN research
you guys,
department.
Yeah, we need somebody in the chat to let us know. Little Kyle Haney action. If you guys know a good harmonica player, let us know.
If anybody would know, it would be Kyle Haney, one of the great announcers here at Lynchburg. So much fun here on homecoming weekend, the finale from Schellenberger Field. Lynchburg and Randolph-Macon. Evan Gates and Joe Brennan hanging out with you with just south of 13 minutes to play in this first half. Few routes in recent games for both of these squads. 3 straight shutouts. Well, that is out the window now. Blood drawn early. And now Lynchburg still sits with the advantage. Two teams that had very consistent lineups in the postseason last year. For example, 10 Yellow Jackets played 77 or more minutes in that game versus Lynchburg, that ODAC quarterfinal. So you could tell that Coach Gettler had a lineup set. It's a little bit different today, and obviously senior day for Lynchburg, but it will be interesting to see how these lineups shape up in the next few weeks. Meredith Bowers boots this one to the other side of the field. Here is Sejal Wellington. Ball played into the middle, and now Ella Irons. Who else to collect in the midfield? Numbers start moving forward. Irons has isolation now on the far side of the field. She's going to take a stab at it left foot. Long had to take a really good look at it. Ella Irons, someone from this Lynchburg team, and we can go more in depth even later during halftime or in the second half, but she was so fortunate for what this Lynchburg team means to her. And these seniors, they played together for so long, and it's a game where you know it's going to be emotional. They also have homecoming, which, though you can't see it necessarily on the field, is directly behind the press box. So imagine if you are the person behind the camera, you're pretty much right in that tailgate or close to it. So many festivities and so many great people on campus. Randolph-Macon will actually have their homecoming festivities coming up very soon as well. So not all hope is lost. The Yellow Jackets will get to enjoy those festivities. That will be versus Roanoke next Saturday, but they will make a trip back to the Hill City on Wednesday to take on Randolph. And the Yellow Jackets are hoping it's a good one. A fun trip without any sour memories. They can try to tie now. Header goes in. Could tell that set piece was a little arranged, but Lynchburg finds the clearance. Randolph-Macon will have to find a second option. Ball played in the middle of the field, hit the wrong part of the foot, and now McKenna Dom exits stage left as Lynchburg looks for options. Part of the homecoming festivities and the Champions Week of Giving was the Hall of Fame dinner on Thursday. 2 recognized from this Lynchburg women's soccer team. As this ball is ushered out on the far side, Brittany Klipstein and Rachel Sadowski, the 2 that were inducted from the women's soccer squad, so congratulations to them. Very good accolades between those 2. Klipstein was in the 2009 Final Four team, and then Sadowski, the 2014 NCAA Woman of the Year. Accolades that aren't just handed out to everybody. Ball stayed in the Lynchburg attacking third for a prolonged minute, but it will head the other way, and the player is down for the Yellow Jackets. That midfield battle, something that you got to constantly monitor, especially with this Lynchburg team that has focused so much on energy, so much on trying to come out of the gates quick. How will it shape up in the second half as Macon gets ready to boot this one out? Morgan Oliver. Taps it forward. Now on the far side, Randolph-Macon repossesses. Haley Casey almost had her hands full, and here comes the attack. Wow, almost had to head contact as Casey sends this one into the crowd. Or was heading that direction, stays on the field. The whistle happens first. Looks like it's Lauren Brokaw who's the one who's shaken up just a little bit, walking gingerly on that foot. Obviously, that's unfortunate news for Randolph-Macon because she has been one of the main contributors, and you hope everything is okay with the junior from Glen Allen. Started every match this season, 8 goals and 7 assists. She started all 18 matches last year as well, just a mainstay in that lineup. So substitution for Randolph-Macon. Kaylee Schreiner comes into the contest for the Jackets. And immediately, Randolph-Macon tries to get back to business. Laura Bertram. Doors closed again, and Ella Irons escaping out the back. A lot of space as it's one-on-one down that side of the field. Cross gets in. Just a bounce in the wrong direction. Randolph-Macon can use the counter, and you can tell they are proficient. Here's an opportunity, one-on-one. The pass just escapes in the wrong direction. Bertram had a good matchup, but when you got Haley Casey in front of you, that's one of the tougher ones of the game.
Yeah, she hasn't made life easy for these Randolph-Macon forwards, and we know what they can do. You've got 25 goals combined through the 3 of them.
Those 3, of course, Allie Spengler, Laura Bertram, and Lauren Brokaw. They have just been incredible. And someone that you want to rely on. All 3 north of 7 goals. 7 or more, we should say, and that's not something you see on every soccer squad in America. This Randolph-Macon team has the personnel. They will extend it as well. So many players have been a part in the last 3 matches, those shutouts for the Jackets. Most recently, a 3-0 win versus EMU, as this one is taken by Bowers on one hop. last time out for Randolph-Macon. We already mentioned how many different players have gotten in on the action. They had 3 different goal scorers, and all 3 goals scored in the first 12 minutes.
What a move by Wellington.
Little fancy footwork, and now maybe an opening for Lynchburg. Boyce just sends this pass a little too far.
Yeah, they try to run a little 2-man game, but when Wellington sets you up like that, I mean, that's when I think you really use the wheels. See how far you can go.
She is so impressive, and she can make stuff happen in a hurry. Pair of substitutions for both squads. I believe it's Ariel Farmer and Gracie Nicely for Randolph-Macon. 2 players that have made tons of contributions throughout this season, and then 14 and 15 for Lynchburg, Hannah Phillips and Maddie Olson. Maddie Olson delivered the game ball to her father last time out. Dr. Todd Olson's 500th career win. Some cool pictures from after the game as well, because obviously it is such a significant contribution or accomplishment from Coach Olson, but ultimately it is so many different impacts that affects that. As Casey takes a nice step to her right. Obviously the coaching staffs and the alumni, it all just came together at the right time, and still extending our congratulations to Coach. Far side of the field. Lynchburg looking for the cross. This one played in, but Long sees it, and she wants to inject some pace into the Randolph-Macon attack. Problem is no one was in the area code, at least temporarily. Bertram thought about giving chase, saw Haley Casey, and elects to start playing back. Attempt at a slide tackle from Randolph-Macon, and it almost causes trouble. Hannah Phillips curls this one. Wow. Deflection that Lynchburg tries to play off. Woo. Ring around the rosy all the way to the other side of the field.
That should be a whistle, yeah.
That's about as easy as it's going to get. Not much discrepancy in that one.
Oh, I want to take another look at that last shot. That was wild.
It was filthy. Think it caught the crossbar. Obviously did have to deflect and come back. That sun that we've been battling all game long causes a little bit of problems. Hannah Phillips almost had a highlight we were going to remember for a long time. This ball sails that Long can comfortably collect. Here's that replay. Hannah Phillips, the freshman, with time and space. Oh, that's about as close to upper 90s you're going to get. What a problem that would have caused for the Randolph-Macon huddle, because you already have a lot of the talk prepared. You're down a goal. You know it is very easy to come back. You got 45 minutes. Would have been way different. This ball played inside. Crowd not liking it. As the ball hits the other side of the field. Just 3 minutes to play in this first half. It has given us just about anything and everything between Lynchburg and Randolph-Macon. 2 familiar foes. Lynchburg has dominated the series history really until lately, where the Yellow Jackets have tried to find their way into the picture. Just 3 wins in the previous 34 meetings for Randolph-Macon. Far side, Alora Gurkowski, one of the seniors recognized earlier, will take her throw in. She's made such a jump in her years here at Lynchburg, becoming an everyday starter for that back line, and she seems to get better and better. Here's Wellington. Gets set with the throw. Ball played inside as Madeline Boyce tries to track back. The Hornets, Joe, might feel comfortable here just to settle and try to get one more quality look before halftime. Rogstad threw a little pressure Whistle for the second. That's contact that's just a little too much. And so a free kick on the way for Lynchburg. There's another look at the freshman, Sammy Rogstad. Sensational as always. Drawing contact is something the Hornets have done well today. It allowed them to take the first penalty kick and tie things up. Now, the person who is credited with the PK goal, McKenna Dom, might try to offer an assist for the Hornets. This ball played in. Hits the head on the far side, and it looks like the referee will intervene. Final 60 seconds in this first half. Two teams that are red hot and sitting near the top of the ODAC standings. Does not feel like much has separated them, but when you look at the stat sheet right now, obviously Lynchburg has the lead, and they are out shooting Randolph-Macon 11-4. Something to keep in mind as we head into the second 45. Throw on the far side. Ball has really stayed in the middle third. Lynchburg has gotten their chances. Now Ava Olson. Maybe some late half magic. This ball played forward to Sejal Wellington. She does get that right foot on it. A good cross as Hannah Phillips takes a stab. Now in the midfield, there's the foul call that will take us to halftime. So, what a first half we have had. 3 goals are scored, 2 belong to the hometown Hornets. On homecoming weekend, it's a lot of electric stuff that we have seen on Schellenberger. A first-minute goal, a penalty kick, and everything in between. We will be back to discuss some halftime stats and analysis. Evan Gates and Joe Brennan taking you through it on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
I am a first-generation college student. I applied to 16 universities, and I actually had decided on going to a different university. But, doing, FAFSA and everything on my own, and the need for a good credit with the Parent Plus loan and everything like that, my plans kind of fell through. I just couldn't give up hope. So I'm wrestling through this like shoebox I have full of like acceptance letters and financial aid letters. And I got my financial aid reward letter, and I also received scholarships from the school, and it was, the most affordable for me. They were excited to work with me. Financial aid really helped me out a lot with getting that situated. And I've just considered it a blessing ever since to go from 1 week not knowing whether or not I had to stay home for a year or And then the next week, you know, knowing that this is where I'm going, it was meant to be. And obviously, I consider this place my home, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Never think that your donation is in vain, because you're helping out hundreds of students that are just like me, who need a shot and who are getting one. Without donations, without you individuals that are helping to donate to the university and the Lynchburg Fund, there would be no student body president, Davion Washington. There'd probably be I'm stuck at home, you know, Davion Washington. And so there's a lot to be thankful for, and it's definitely the people that donate. And like I said, not only is your donation building leaders, but it's building leaders like myself and others that will hopefully want to pay it forward one day and do the same thing. I know for a fact that, you know, when I have it, because I will, I want to give back to this university that provided me a home for 4 years.
Lynchburg really stood out for me just because of the way it treated its students. They really do make an effort here, and I've learned that over my 4 years, is that they actually do try to listen to what the student body wants, and they try to act on that. They don't really just give you a piece of paper here to then go off and do your own thing. They actually prepare you to like work with different populations, which is what the world is all about. It's just working with people that are different than you. They genuinely care that everyone has the ability to go off into the world and make a difference with whatever they like. For me, that's just being basically in a room with someone, helping them achieve their first goal of, I don't know, doing a pull-up. I actually do believe they want you to do the best you can to change someone's life for the better. You can be anyone here, which I think is really cool. But regardless of who you are here, they will make sure you don't fall through the cracks, which is awesome. I have realized that I've never felt lost here. I will not regret ever coming here, that's for sure. So I'm very glad that I came here. Yeah, it's actually pretty awesome.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the athletic training laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
Never think that your donation is in vain, because you're helping out hundreds of students that are just like me, who who need a shot and who are getting one without donations, without you individuals that are helping to donate to the university and the Lynchburg Fund, there would be no student body president, Davion Washington. There'd probably be I'm stuck at home, Davion Washington. Not only is your donation building leaders, but it's building leaders like myself and others that will hopefully want to pay it forward one day and do the same thing. I know for a fact that, when I have it, because I will, I want to give back to this university that provided me a home for 4 years.
Living the dream. USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
If you like being close with your professors, if you like being in small classes that help with one-on-one, if you like being in positive communities that help you train your weak points and strengthen your strong points, then the University of Lynchburg is a great place to go. You can never go wrong with the amount of help that they offer, the amount of self-sacrifice that other people will put in for you. It has a beautiful campus, it has dedicated teachers, it has nice students, it has fun activities, and it has plenty of things to do.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
It's not.
How you feeling? Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Woo! We did it! Kind of.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
The first half was a fun one from Schellenberger Field here on homecoming weekend, and we saw right away the Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets strike in the first minute. It was a cross that evaded Haley Casey and found the right footing for the Yellow Jackets. But Lynchburg climbed back, and it started with a lot of positive offensive efforts. You see Ella Irons hitting the turf. Well, maybe that was an indication of what was to come, because just a little bit later, you see Ella Irons with a nice run to the goal, tripped up by Zoe Long, and a penalty kick ensuing as McKenna Dom slotted it home, a low shot that finds the net, and the Hornets just kept on ripping. It took a few efforts here and there to get there, a lot of physicality throughout this contest, and we've seen both goalkeepers tested in a slew of different ways, but ultimately it was Lynchburg that would find the second goal, and Ella Irons had a stellar cross that finds the foot eventually of Morgan Oliver to seal it for Lynchburg. That is in the first 45 minutes as we head into our halftime stats and analysis. Joe, you can look at the numbers right now. It just feels like, though, ever since that first goal in the first minute, it's been Lynchburg who has been a little bit hungrier.
Yeah, it's been all Lynchburg ever since the first minute of this ball game. A quick lapse of judgment by Haley Casey in uncharacteristic manner. But since then, I mean, it's been full throttle. The foot's been on the gas, pedal to the metal. I mean, it's been really fun to see. And they haven't shown any sign of slowing down. You see it in this shot disparity. That really tells you everything you need to know in terms of how time of possession has really been controlled in this game. 12-4 is a big gap, especially when, you know, they had one in the first minute or so. So since then, 12-3. That kind of aggressive nature has really boded well for them. And it's not like they're just chucking up shots from half. I mean, they've gotten a lot of really good looks. And to be quite frank with you, Randolph-Macon should be relieved it's only 2-1.
I agree 100%. We've seen a few chances from Lynchburg that just haven't found the net. We had a shot from Hannah Phillips that greased about every single part of the crossbar before finding its way out. And so the Yellow Jackets have a big task ahead of them. Most of the time this season, Lynchburg, when they have led that shot category by a disparity that large, it's normally just an opponent where they dominate possession. They really take control of things. Feels like the Yellow Jackets have had their fair share of possession throughout this contest, but the question has quickly become, can they take those quality chances?
But can you keep the party going is important for Lynchburg, because the sun's starting to set. Those tailgate fields are starting to dwindle, so you got to create your own energy.
That's right. You got to manifest a little bit of excitement. That first half did just that. A fun one here on LHSN. Evan Gates and Joe Brennan will take you through the second half. Ooh, there's a late deflection as McKenna Dom went down. That was an awkward ball. It almost looked like it hit her teeth or her neck, somewhere in that face area. But everything's okay now. Sometimes, too, some of the balls will just take the wind out of you. You get a high velocity one that comes back.
Yeah, I'm no dentist or ENT, but I'll tell you that didn't look like it felt good.
No, not from our perspective. Soccer, one of the sports where it just feels like if something hits the wrong spot or you just tweak something at the wrong time of the game, it's not going away in just a few minutes. You might be feeling it the rest of the game, but that's why they are truly professionals out on the field. They know what they're doing, and they're going to play through it. Irigoyen, a long throw, tries to enter the box. Lynchburg sticking outside. Pass now on the far side to Ella Irons. She's been great all game. Now a shot chance that finds its way into the net. 28 has done everything in this game. She just took a stab at it and fired. More blood ensuing as the Hornets are creeping and crawling forward in this one. It's everything, Joe Brennan. Look at this replay. Ella Irons moves to the right spot. Left foot, right foot, don't matter. Go ahead and fire. And this Lynchburg offense proves once again why it is so versatile and why this team has come up big during big spots throughout this season. They're now 2 ahead against one of the conference's best.
Well, it was Randolph-Macon that got one early in the first half. This time around, it's the Hornets early in the second half. It just felt like she was due.
Absolutely.
She had been sending ones all day long that were everywhere but the back of the net. That time around, just eyes it, tries it, buys it. Beautiful.
Oh. And the way that she sets up that angle, you typically see a lot of defenders cut it off quicker. And what happened there is Irons was just so far in the middle of the field that it was open. And she went right through. The party is still rocking on Schellenberger Field, and the Hornets are loving it. Ella Irons strikes first. When we look at her stats this season, obviously someone who is starting to stick out in a big way. 3 goals now. Here's Irigoyen. Fancy as this shot is just a few yards right of the post.
And I don't mind that take either. I mean, they've got a good scouting report on what's been getting past the keeper today. With 12 shots, 3 of them going through, you're getting a good sense of where you need to be placing this ball. Irigoyen, a nice look. Tried to go near side post and just squeak one through. I like the attempt.
Hornets trying to strike quickly again. Morgan Oliver, she's not shy about shooting from outside. It's all feet forward now. Irigoyen with space on the near side. Cross might connect on the far side. Irons sees it deflect the wrong way. Oh, now watch Morgan Oliver. Atop the 18-yard box. Long makes a dive for it. And a smart decision. It was outside, but now Lynchburg can march to the flag for another corner.
And just the second corner of the day. Both of them for the Hornets. And it looks like that one was supposed to be for a backdoor cutting Dom, but Oliver just got out in front of it. Nonetheless, they still earn a good opportunity here with a beautiful set piece.
Lots of options. And this Randolph-Macon defense all of a sudden with its back against the wall cannot concede another. Ball placed right in the right spot. It escapes. It's going to be one-on-one on the other side. Grakowski can field this one out. And that 2023 ODAC quarterfinal matchup between these two teams, there was only 1 goal between the two of them. The 61st minute strike from Lilianis Irigoyen. We have seen the cards turn in a big way this year.
Didn't seem like they had any problem creating their own energy out of the second half.
No, not at all. You know it's senior day too, and for a first-minute goal to be conceded, you have to imagine that just sucks a little bit of the life out of you. But this Hornets team has prevailed, and obviously it would be an emotional result should they go on to win this game. But
yeah, it feels like it did everything but take the life out of them.
Yes.
It lit a fire underneath them. And they're still looking to add on to it. And it's not like they're parking the bus and playing conservative now. You still see them trying to get out in transition, look for open cutters, and make stuff happen.
You can't teach that as a coaching staff either. You prepare your team all season long. You just hope that during the moment when that adversity is faced, that your 11 is the quickest and sharpest with the decisions. And this Lynchburg team has come out and certainly shown what they're all about. Oh, late contact. The Irigoyen's gone for that one. Physicality on display, and she's not afraid to make those plays.
And Evan, to go back to your point, Micah Adams was talking about this in our last broadcast. It's really all about creating culture and the preparation that you do up until the game. Just because soccer's so unique where you can't necessarily be in the ear of your players when they're out there on the pitch. And no better example in the ODAC than the man with 500 and counting.
Well, if you even walk before the game through the pregame conversations, you have some Lynchburg fans and parents. The opposing squad is there. So many people wanted to talk to Dr. Todd Olson, and it's just a testament to what this whole thing is about. The saying this year, Harambe, divided is weakness, united is strength. This Lynchburg team starting to play into it. Now space for Madeline Boyce at the top of the box, trying to find the through ball. She stands firm, takes the shot. Oh, Long had a great save, and that keeps Randolph-Macon in the game.
Evan, I need you to walk me through Harambe one more time.
Divided is weakness, united is strength.
Where's the H?
That's right. We might have to go look back at things. Coach Olson might be spilling some lies. It is a saying that if you go back, you see so many different sayings from Coach Olson and the squad.
Let's take another look at this shot opportunity. I mean, your defender goes tumbling, you're looking for the through ball, and then bam, you see an opening. Trying to put it upstairs in the top shelf. Great save right there from the keeper.
You wonder if Zoe Long could have gotten it with two hands as this ball's placed in. Haley Casey searching. That ball stayed in the area code. Another one that flirts with the corner. Does go out. And a goal kick as the Yellow Jackets are just trying to refuel and catch their breath now. Lynchburg is continuing to probe. Ella Irons opens up the second half with a beautiful strike to make it 3-1. And now the Hornets sitting in the driver's seat. Going back to some of the culture from Coach Olson, well, when you're coaching for 31 seasons, you certainly have to have some consistency and just a profile as to what your program is all about. The wins don't create everything. There's got to be a little bit more, and this Lynchburg team feels so much more united this year. Coach says with every saying and every season, it's very relatable to what the current story is. It's not just a catch-all. Here's Irigoyen moving out wide. She has isolation. A few taps inside, reverses. Great move from Irigoyen, slots it all the way around, and the cross finds its way out back. Now round two. Irons takes a stab. Clearance from Randolph-Macon. They needed it.
Yeah, that was a big-time kick out right there from the Macon defense. You get your goalkeeper out of position. You're so vulnerable in that spot. That very well could have been a goal if not for that back line.
Another ball played in a dangerous area. The referee points to the corner. McKenna Dom will make the trot over. Zoe Long coming into this contest, the goalkeeper for Randolph-Macon. Just over 1 goal allowed per game, 26 saves and 81% save percentage. This has been by committee throughout this year between Zoe Long and Erin Morris. Lynchburg getting the better of them today. Hornets sticking in the box. Rogstad plays this one out wide. And now Haley Casey, 6 in the box. A header that rolls on through.
This team's getting fired up.
I'd say so. You might hear a few echoes from the crowd on that one. Haley Casey, just another move to get in the right spot.
I mean, that disparity just continues to grow in this shot category, 16-4.
It wasn't necessarily noticeable in the first half either, and if you just started watching at a random point, it might feel like Lynchburg, yes, did have the momentum, but it wasn't resounding in that department as you see this opportunity from Casey just sail left. The Hornets have taken firm control now and essentially kept Randolph-Macon's very nice attack out of the game.
What a play by Rockstad to keep that ball alive.
And now misdirection heading the other way. Lynchburg can use this midfield. Fantastic freshman on this squad. Sammy Rogstad has done everything. Casey plays this pass a little too far out. Meredith Bowers tracks it down. Oh, that could have been trouble. Ball is staying out. Meredith Bowers has to be careful now as the ball is played back into the box. And she finally falls on it.
Hold your breath.
Took a field trip to get there, but Lynchburg's defense able to recover.
Who doesn't like a good field trip, though?
Oh, they're always fantastic. I think Lynchburg today should have been a field trip spot because all the festivities have been fantastic.
You ever have a favorite field trip growing up?
You know, there are several good candidates. Let's look at Washington, D.C. or the Biltmore. So you're either going east or you're going south. Oh, wow, hold that thought. This shot rockets from outside. If we were talking about field trip, that one took the space shuttle.
Yeah.
Sammy Rogstad's not afraid to strike. Let's throw the question back at you, though, Joe Brennan. Favorite field trip?
What's the home of, like, George Washington or Thomas Jefferson that everybody always goes on?
So, believe it or not, Poplar Forest, which was Thomas Jefferson's summer home, is in Lynchburg.
Wow.
Just a little plug.
Not what I'm thinking of.
Monticello?
There we go.
There we
Monticello. Go. That was a good one. Also went to an apple orchard, first grade. Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Those are always cool.
Yeah. Of course, you got to bring a 20 with you. You got to bring a
right.
Jackson to pay for all the apples.
Oh, yeah. It is apple orchard season, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's that time of the year.
Colors starting to change.
You got a favorite type of apple?
It's a good question. Let's go Red Delicious. Keep
Red
it simple.
Delicious. I'm a Honey Crisp kind of guy.
Okay, yes, very popular. Randolph-Macon sits outside. Pass tries to find its way in. It's worked out by Lynchburg.
How about them apples?
Oh, get your whole basket after that. Irigoyen leading the charge, and Madeline Boyce showing some of the sprint speed forward. Oh, no call. A little bit of contact from both sides, and so Alora Grukowski can change the tempo. Brilliant cross. Easy clearance from Randolph-Macon. They might have numbers now. Don't rule them out yet. The Jackets might settle. Oh, Bertram was circling, but Casey finds her way back with the ball, and now Ella Irons on the far side. Look at this run. Does run out of room, but another example of Ella Irons' prowess. And all of a sudden, it is turning into a track meet. Hope you ate your apples before this contest because the nutrition is starting to matter. McKenna Dom plays this ball in. Zoe Long, maybe the easiest collection of the game. Half an hour remains in this contest. Randolph-Macon is starting to show a little more promise. And credit to Carly Getler. You get hit in the mouth early in the second half. She's still making sure that this squad is playing to the best of their abilities. The problem is Lynchburg has found a way to exploit every option. Rogstad ball played in. Here come the Hornets. Oliver takes a shot. One bounce into the gloves of Zoe Long. Connections in the middle of the field. Randolph-Macon unable to keep it clean. Big day for the ODAC as always. 4 matches today. This Lynchburg one is the latest. We will continue to see how the standings are affected. Lauren Brokaw made ODAC news recently, the Week 7 Offensive Player of the Week. helped Randolph-Macon to 2 of those shutout wins. And now a squad that has been going toe-to-toe with W&L in the conference standings. Lynchburg wants that title as well. Irons with 2 defenders, looks to split, shot, finds a bounce, and ricochets off. Another corner for the Hornets.
It just feels like Randolph-Macon can't keep up with her today. She's been able to get whatever she wants whenever she wants it.
What's so interesting, too, is when you look at the scouting report, you know Lynchburg's going to run down the touch lines. That's just their style of play. They're constantly looking to send the ball forward. It's no secret. But even with that information, players like Ella Irons make it so difficult to defend. Corner opportunity, ball lofted into the Saturday sky. Boyce gets the opportunity. We're waiting for the signal. It's a goal from Madeline Boyce, the goal leader of this season. Might have just sent Randolph-Macon's hopes home. Referees are talking this one over. Gonna have to wait and see the replay. Morgan Oliver delivers this one, and it just sticks at the feet of Madeline Boyce like super glue. Extended conversations as Madeline Boyce has scored the 4th goal of this contest. Coach Gettler wasn't exactly sure, but it looks just about confirmed. Here we go again, resuming action 4-1. And Joe, we talked about Lynchburg having momentum. Well, they have very quickly not only moved into the driver's seat, but essentially driven away in this contest.
Yeah, I mean, it has been all Hornets ever since the second minute of this game.
We will see if the women in black have any response. A reminder, their next match will be against Randolph on Wednesday. Lynchburg has enjoyed its stay at home quite a few games throughout this season. Well, they'll go on the road for 2 next week at Bridgewater and at Shenandoah. 2 more conference tilts. Riley Russ sails this one, and Meredith Bowers collects.
Good rollout right there.
Goalkeepers are responsible for so much more than just playing defense. It sometimes starts the attack, and look now, as the Hornets eventually move all the way into the attacking third before the Jackets take it.
I mean, while they turn it over, like, look at where the ball is now.
Yes.
Just in a matter of seconds.
And the way Lynchburg's offense has played today, who knows when it escapes that again.
And I think that's the biggest thing that Bowers brings to a team compared to a lot of other keepers is she's so great at having awareness on when to get the ball out and where to get the ball out to get the team out and running.
She has played phenomenally all season. Starts with Kate Shepard at the beginning of the year where they essentially swapped them, and she eventually has become the main keeper, one could say, for Lynchburg, as this one won't test long. And Randolph-Macon's keeper tries to get a run out that Grakowski eventually fields. Joe, I'm wondering too, we talk about goalkeepers and there's a difference between athletic ability and then just helping your team, the communication. How much of it plays into your class? Because we know Meredith Bowers, being a senior, has seen this team for 4 years. Has to help, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think especially on that leadership communication aspect. Granted, every now and then you'll find someone that's, a great high school prospect that comes in and, is a freshman but doesn't necessarily play or lead like one. That's certainly something we see in the collegiate game. So now you get to see a little bit of the athleticism too. But athleticism, I think, is more person to person and less so based on class. Obviously, you can improve strength and conditioning as you move along, but I think that leadership ability and communication is definitely something that grows a lot with the more experience under your belt, especially at the collegiate level.
It's so vital, and you see right here, as you said, the athleticism still does matter. Meredith Bowers is one of the best in the conference. This is a great header. Reverses direction, but just a little too wide. Communication is important in every aspect of the game. It's not just one position, but to have it with your keeper is even better. Lacey Garner, Hannah Phillips, and Zirkle into the contest for Lynchburg. Beautiful night in the 4-3-4. A lot of students still in attendance on that far side, and though we mentioned many of the tailgates behind us have concluded, it was really up until 6 o'clock today. Still a great night here in the 4-3-4. Lynchburg might not be done at 4. They are looking to keep moving into the attacking third. One can't blame a team who's looking for more goals. We know goal differential does matter in the conference standings, and obviously no discredit to this Randolph-Macon squad, who has one of the best defenses in the league, but it just hasn't been good enough tonight, as Kate Shepard does make the defensive replacement in goal. Meredith Bowers will step off on senior night.
And that's great just to have her check out and get that round of applause here from the home fans.
How about Coach Olson doing it after the save, too? You maybe almost capitalize off of one of the exclamation marks. I mean, unless it's hockey and you've conceded a goal, you don't normally see goalies just come out after they lose a goal. Don't want to let anything go into the net. This pass cleanly defended from Randolph-Macon. It's ushered out, but Lynchburg has another corner, this time on the near side.
Yeah, I mean, you stop the transition, but in my mind, you want to kick that one east-west, not north-south. Try and prevent the corner play.
100%. Feels like there have been walls on those touch lines today for that Randolph-Macon defense. Everything is going across the goal line, and that's just due to some of the runs, some of the pressure that Lynchburg has exerted. It's 5 on the way. Corner is low, sent out by the Jackets. Now you got to start marking up front. Maddie Olson doing well to play defense, but Randolph-Macon still makes its way through. Blanchard just sends it forward. Meredith Bowers, who just exited the contest, goalkeeper for Lynchburg, 5th in the ODAC with just under 5 saves per game. That category is obviously dependent on your opponents as well, because we know Lynchburg has played a lot of matches this season where they have dominated in possession and it hasn't required as many saves. 2 more substitutions for Randolph-Macon into the contest, Ariel Farmer and Natalie Moxie. Senior day for this Lynchburg women's soccer squad. 11 seniors recognized. Several of them consistent starters. The entire Lynchburg backline of Laura Gurkowski, Haley Casey, and Claire Lloyd. 45 wins for the senior class entering today's contest. They're hoping there are a few more trademark victories in the blueprint, but still a lot of soccer to be played. It is, in fact, still mid-October, and the postseason can shape up within a week. It can look a lot different. But Coach Olson's squad trending in the right direction. You see it on the scoreboard now. Zirkle encounters some trouble. Bodies on the turf. This time the Jackets do enough to send it over the touchline. Riley Wampler entering the contest for Lynchburg, along with number 26, Taylor Burton. Here comes Megan Lauder with space. She's going to fire left-footed. Just doesn't rise enough, and Long has the capability to get it rather easily.
That's a great ball.
Yes, and played out wide for Lynchburg. The cross might be even better. Hannah Phillips almost collides with Long. Referee did blow his whistle. That cross looked like it went up the staircase before it came down. Lynchburg has done well to enter the box today. We talked about that physicality coming into this contest. If you play against good defenses, you gotta be a little extra aggressive. Under 20 minutes to go, 20 shots on the day for Lynchburg. That might be the stat that we remember. Job's not done yet as the Yellow Jackets take a stab at it. Bowers sees this attempt the whole time. Ariel Farmer was running smoothly on the near side. Jackets just haven't found that quality chance yet. No class under Coach Olson has graduated without an ODAC title. That 2022 championship extended that run as Lynchburg got it done. And you talk about ODAC championships being the focus of the season. We know that Coach Olson does not necessarily care about winning the regular season. He wants to go out and take the postseason runs, but it's just a show of what Lynchburg's all about as this shot is just a foot away.
They're fired up.
Lynchburg wants a high five after that one, and ooh. You're just waiting now. Some of those chances that come out of nowhere are the ones that find the back of the net. Lynchburg crowd has been sensational all game long. A lot of the alumni. It's also Parents Weekend.
Oh, let's take another look at that beautiful cross.
Ooh.
Great chance out in front.
High velocity as well off the foot. Hornets have just been a little bit quicker today, especially in the midfield as Zirkle regains possession. Now Megan Lauder looks forward. Ball played to Phillips. She's got space. Zigzagging through to the middle of the field, and this one is released. For Randolph-Macon, 6 clean sheets this season. There were 3 straight, which the Jackets outscored their opponents 7-0. Obviously an anomaly on the schedule. Another shot from Phillips.
Woo!
Seems like they get closer every single time. Still just flirting with the goal, though. Zoe Long can send this one off again. We're going to keep stating it. 22 shots for Lynchburg. Not exactly a stat that you always see from the Hornets. They don't necessarily need to take that many bites at the apple. Yellow Jackets clear. Though Lynchburg is 1 game behind Randolph-Macon in the standings, they're just 2 points behind. So essentially with this win today, they will move ahead of Randolph-Macon with an extra game to play. So it will be a comfortable spot for the Hornets when you look at this postseason if they're trying to host games for the ODAC tournament. But much work to be done. Lauder, pass down Main Street. Back the other way. Counter opportunity, transition offense, you name it. Randolph-Macon has just tried to employ it, but this Lynchburg defense posing a few problems that have been unsolvable. Joe, you mentioned the boxing analogy earlier. It's like you got hit in the first minute and then you had to get back up. It's been all Lynchburg since. I don't know if that happens in a boxing fight because normally you're going to see somebody at least be a little wobbly or be struggling to stand up. This Lynchburg team has been night and day from that first chance they conceded.
No, yeah, this feels like you hit Mike Tyson in the face and then he bit your ear off.
Yep. That sounds about right. Not much more that you can do to explain that one.
Yeah, pretty self-explanatory right there.
If you don't know what we're talking about, there are highlights out there. We don't want Mike Tyson to come bite our ears off, so we will let you do the work for the research. Isn't that fight still in the cards? It was one of the Paul brothers.
I think it's going to happen next year.
We'll have to wait and see. Lauder loses possession. Lynchburg still knocking on the door. And this chance is disrupted again. If you want money in sports, go to the boxing industry. Boxing, UFC, they have all been in a very good spot. Got a dogfight on this encounter. Ball escapes and it goes back to Shepard.
Maybe that's where you need to go, Evan.
I like my job as it is. I think we're okay. Talking about it, maybe.
Yeah. You could be the next Joe Rogan.
That's right. It takes. I think that's a one of one.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say.
This shot, a slow roller back to Shepard. It is Saturday night, so I'm sure someone somewhere is going to be on a pay-per-view. In a few short weeks, Lynchburg's hoping to host some pretty big games here on Schellenberger Field. You know the postseason is arriving, and a match today even on the men's side where you tie Washington and Lee. It's these encounters in the regular season that might not necessarily look different to the eye that can be the difference makers come November. So for the Hornets to get this win, assuming that they can connect the dots in the next 12 minutes, it would be a very stellar result. And quite frankly, Joe, the way Washington and Lee is playing right now, they look almost unbeatable. And so to have home turf advantage, even if you can sneak into the picture, would be a huge aspiration from this Lynchburg team.
And it wasn't a conference game, but we saw the Generals come to town, and that was one heck of a game as well. It feels like Lynchburg really just ran out of time in that one. I mean, you went down at half, 2-0. Second half, Washington Lee added on to it really quickly. It was 3-0. Felt like the Hornets were getting blown out of the water. Then 2 goals at the end of that game. They had it 2 minutes remaining. You ricochet one off the pipes. You had 3 really good looks at it, but couldn't find the equalizer. But they proved, I mean, if Lynchburg can play a full 45 against a Washington and Lee team, it's anyone's ballgame.
I'd agree 100%. And I think Lynchburg's counting its blessings with who has been designated as those non-conference opponents before, because we do know that Washington and Lee was selected this year. Yellow card assessed on that most recent play. Last season, the non-conference opponent was Roanoke, and Lynchburg dropped that one 2-0. And so not necessarily that it changes the mindset in those games, but the Hornets have just been fortunate because it's not affecting that conference record.
Yeah, and you mentioned the preseason poll. Virginia Wesleyan, actually the team that was projected to finish first in the conference. Washington Lee second, Lynchburg in third. Randolph-Macon was all the way down at 8th. So these teams have both really lived up to their expectations and some.
And a lot of teams early in conference play discovered some turbulence.
Yeah.
I mean, Virginia Wesleyan had a troubling start. A lot of teams were looking at Lynchburg as a team that maybe had something that they left to be desired.
Yeah, they figured it out pretty quick.
I agree 100%. A few trips back home has really been a spark plug for this Hornets squad, and you can tell why. They are certainly a team that wants to be playing their best ball in the postseason.
And it was really that weekend tournament in Salem where they played 2 top 25 teams, and it just really was not their weekend. It kind of gave people, a little bit of questions, but ever since then, they've cleaned it up. And sometimes that's kind of the adversity you need early on in a year to correct things. And granted, I mean, those are 2 losses to 2 of the top 25 teams in the nation. But at the same time, those are the kind of schools that you're coming into the season saying, we can compete and beat. And it wasn't the result that they got in those 2 games, but if you put Lynchburg tonight against those teams from the beginning of the year, I think it's a dogfight. If not, Lynchburg could handle them pretty easily.
I think it's a very different story just a few weeks later. A lot of the seniors come out of the contest. Lynchburg really swapped shop with some of those substitutions. And a corner awaiting. Under 10 minutes now. Allie Roberts is up for Lynchburg on the bench, so maybe expect another goalkeeping substitution as well. We've seen her get a few minutes swapping with Kate Shepard. Now the referee makes his run over. It looks like the play is ready to be delivered. Can the Hornets find number 5? Hand down, ball in the air. Perfectly placed, and a punch from Long. And cleanly gathered after a pass or a touch from Dom that enters the box. Joe, I love what you were saying, too, about those opponents that Lynchburg sees early in the year, because I think every coach out there wants to have that tough non-conference slate to prepare for the conference. And Johns Hopkins last year was a #1 team in the nation at one point. And so, even if this season they're still ranked, it's all about reputation and the image that you give off. And so to go up against those 2 teams that are all menacing in the top 25 doesn't necessarily matter, because you get to conference play, you're portrayed in a whole different way. And we know Lynchburg has been that giant in recent years.
Without a doubt.
I think the question that Coach Olson and company now is trying to answer is, can they get that championship one more time? Just send a reminder. We are that team. You look at all the history, and especially revisiting some of it with Coach Olson's 500th win, there are a lot of titles involved in the process, but this is not an easy conference. The middle of the table has really improved its game, and we've seen teams like Randolph-Macon really start to bolster their programs. Lots of play in the midfield. We've seen a few benign chances, but in the dying minutes, you have to expect Lynchburg likes where the scoreline is at now. We've said it quite a few times with the Hornets in recent games. They have been able to cruise through the ending. But then again, you see games like Washington and Lee from earlier this season, and you can never let your foot off the gas pedal, even at the end. Yellow Jackets just trying to send it forward. Beautiful sunset in Lynchburg tonight. Though it is senior night, and a lot of these Hornets recognized it might only be the start of the action on Schellenberger. Hold that thought. Randolph-Macon now probing. They get the shot off, and Shepard, nice acrobatics moving backwards.
Great play right there from Shepard. And not always easy when you come in cold after standing on the sideline for 45 and some change. We get another test right here.
We'll see what the Jackets can do with it. Another shot, almost identical placement this time. Gets rid and over the goal line. Shepard did everything she could to get it cleanly. See some of the color in the sky at the top of your screen. It has been about as perfect of a homecoming day as you could have expected. See if Lynchburg can keep it just about perfect on the score line. Header goes over the goal. Hornets are hoping to essentially have dominated this contest for about 89 minutes.
How about this deja vu? Another spectacular save followed by a goalkeeping change.
That's right.
Let's take a look at the replay, Evan.
Ooh, and just easy stuffer. So it seems to our eyes up here, but Randolph-Macon starting to knock on the door. Kate Shepard shepherding the ball out and will leave this contest to some applause. The Hornets employ 3 keepers. That's something that Randolph-Macon is no stranger to. They have started 3 keepers throughout this season. Ooh. There's a late shove, and didn't look like there was any intent. Card will stay in the pocket. Maybe the most interesting stat that we have from all season. No opponent has been shown a card versus Lynchburg. That's now over 1,000 minutes and counting. I don't even know if you can exactly place that with any correlation. It's not that Lynchburg doesn't play physically. Maybe something that will have to be studied later in the season. Here's the play outside. Hornets trying to get that ball in. We're seeing a few good runs. Just stop short. Some of the new names, some of the freshmen that will be coming up in big ways, because we know this senior class possesses so much talent. Saw someone on that side like Julia Byrne. Those minutes, though, they might not be recognized this season with such a veteran squad. You never know when your name's going to show up on that lineup. You got to be ready. Here come the Yellow Jackets. It's a nice ball, but Roberts is there to field it.
That's a great approach.
Yellow Jackets have started to capitalize off that through ball. They're catching Lynchburg's back line napping. Just away from the final 4 minutes. Sajal Wellington takes a shot that rips left. Lynchburg with a win today will be 8-4-2. Their ODAC record will be 5-0-1. And officially, for Coach Olson, he is north of 500.
Yeah, well, and counting. I'm sure that'll continue to grow.
Many jokes made after to Coach Olson when he reached that 500th win. Some people saying, oh, well, 600 is next, or, oh, halfway to 1,000. He said, let's just focus on that next one. Let's just get one. And this one might feel a little bit sweeter for Lynchburg tonight. A great effort from his squad. Certainly an approach that goes throughout the entire committee. So many different contributors from this Lynchburg team. As this ball is played in, Roberts to the turf. Relatively routine save. For Randolph-Macon, obviously, the road will take a quick turn. You come back to the Hill City versus Randolph before a few home games between Roanoke and Virginia Wesleyan. And Joe, those aren't easy opponents. We know there are no off days in the ODAC, but for Coach Gettler's squad, what has to be the storyline going into those games?
I think you just need to rediscover your offense, because tonight you saw a glimmer of it at first, but ever since then, I mean, they've really been shut down. But at the same time, you got to just credit this Lynchburg backline, because they've done everything you could have asked for them tonight. And on the flip side of things, looking at Lynchburg down the road, I mean, you've only got 4 more games left in the regular season. It feels like it's gone by in a flash, but they've gotten hot at just the right time. You'll be back on the road for 2 more games right after tonight. You got Bridgewater and Shenandoah next week, and you welcome Hollins, and that should be a high-scoring affair. That Hollins defense has had some struggles so far this year. They've allowed the most goals in ODAC play so far. So that could definitely be an eruption. But for the Hornets, you've really made it out of the woods sitting kind of pretty. I mean, they've gotten through the toughest part of their schedule so far this year, and they're going to come out of that 8-4-2. You've got a chance to finish off the season with 3-4 more wins and really give yourself a chance to host ODAC tournament play.
Well, winning out obviously isn't out of the picture, because this is a team that's playing so well. And upon review, you imagine that this Lynchburg team would want one of those wins back when you look at Roanoke or Washington and Lee, but so many lessons taken from those contests, and I think that ultimately helps the Hornets at the end of the day.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you could argue it's a blessing in disguise, because ever since then, this team has found their groove. 4 consecutive wins.
You can only look forward, too. There is no reversing the past. I don't think Coach Olson would change a thing about this season, the way it's unfolded. It even allowed him to have win number 500 at home with his family and friends, something that was special in that 5-0 victory versus Averett.
And moving to 5-0-1 in conference play, that looks real good on a resume, and even better in the standings.
So much more to be discovered this season, but one thing is for certain. Lynchburg put a big stamp in the W department tonight. On a homecoming weekend, when you needed an exclamation mark, you got one. Lynchburg is going to finish through the line with a 4-1 victory over the Yellow Jackets. And Joe, you want energy? You want the fireworks? We gave it to you in a 90-minute affair tonight.
And we talked at the beginning how Lynchburg needed to respond in a big way after that first goal and really pepper the Randolph-Macon keeper. They did that. 24 shots tonight.
Zoe Long had her hands full. Lynchburg gets another victory, and courtesy of so many different contributors. It wasn't easy at the start. The first minute belonged to Randolph-Macon. The rest goes to Lynchburg, and they're loving it in the Hill City. Next time at home for this Lynchburg women's soccer squad will be Wednesday, October 30th versus Hollins, but a few road affairs before. It's been a long, fun day here on homecoming weekend as Lynchburg has enjoyed its time on the Shelley turf, but we are going to finish our broadcast here with you now. Lynchburg gets it done 4-1. A big thanks to the entire LHSN crew and our director, Ethan Moratsky. On behalf of my good friend Joe Brennan, my name's Evan Gates, saying so long from the Hill City.